In the Dark of the Night finale recap, this video covers missions 13 and 14 of the In the Dark of the Night mission arc, a series of missions our group ran at the end of 2023. Hi everyone, I was the GM for the In the Dark of the Night mission arc, and I'll be providing a combined recap of the last couple of sessions of the mission arc itself. Why am I doing it this way? Well, the recording of mission 13 only captured my voice, and it contextually didn't make any sense. And both missions 13 and 14 only lasted a few minutes due to some GM short-sightedness, i.e., I overlooked something and the players found a shortcut. And then there was an amazing roll by one of the players themselves, so it ended up cutting this sort of epic space battle we had planned or sort of envisioned to a very cut and dry, quick ending, I was going to say maybe anticlimactic battle. But leaving no record of these missions does the mission arc an injustice, so I will do a high-level recap of, actually I'll do an entire recap of the entire arc, and then I'll finish with a summary of those last two missions. So this isn't going to be polished. I'm doing this for posterity's sake. I don't really see many people watching this, but I want to record it for our group and ourselves, and to help me do this, I'm going to mainly walk through our wiki. So nothing polished here, but a recorded account of our finale. All right, so let's back up to the beginning of the arc. It starts off with an interesting follow-up from an old mission. A year ago in game time, not in real life time, which was 10 years after the Battle of Yavin for our group. I guess it'd be about 4 years ago in real life. The group goes to a planet called Matau in the Anuat system. There we go. To further the training of two of our Jedi initiates. This planet was originally introduced in the Star Wars Uprising mobile game as an abandoned Hutt purse world. I never played the game, but it's been inspirational to several of our missions in the Anuat sector. So on this planet, the group encounters pastoral village folk, who they eventually learn are survivors of the Imperial poisoning and subsequent decimation of Anuat, which had happened decades before in the game. Well, or in Star Wars lore. They were on this lifeboat. It went astray. As it escaped the planet Anuat, they landed on Matau. They were completely stranded. And as life continued, they built a life there. But most yearned to return to their home and to the larger galaxy. And there were other events that happened here during this mission. Let's see. There was a murder mystery. There was old abandoned droids, old Hutt ruins, an old Kyber crystal cave, and one player outdrank the mayor and won a Galaxy's Best Mayor mug from him. Let's see, Katira got the name of her ship as Drew's Delight. And there's this hilarious exchange where they're investigating this murder mystery, and the person says, "Don't forget me." Here we go. "My name is Armitage Archer. Please don't forget me." And then you fast forward to about 30 minutes or an hour later in the game. No one can remember who it was. But anyways, let's flash forward to a year later for this group of players. So it's now 11 ABY, and it's the start of the in the Dark of the Night mission arc. Things have changed. The group has evolved in that year. They're doing more things for the New Republic, and maybe less things sort of on their own, or sort of focused on helping their Jedi initiates become more trained up. But in this year, these people that they found on Matau, they've introduced to the New Republic. They've been rescued, and they're the group of themselves. They're invited to go back to Anuat, this gassed poison planet. In that time, another player character, Blaine Handsome, who is now the Cloud City Baron Administrator, and has been for several years in game time, has helped the government and the Inuit people in exile, alongside the New Republic's aid and support, to fix and rebuild a derelict mining planet from Bespin to repurpose as their own floating city above the poisonous gases on Anahuac. The idea being that this new city on Anahuac will allow some of their decimated population to return to their planet. So you'd have the original off-world survivors of Anahuac, people who weren't there when it got destroyed by the Empire, and the refugees found on Matau. So you'd have this sort of reintegration of these two different people on this floating city, much like Cloud City, but above these sort of poisonous clouds. So the group decides to attend that event where they unveil the floating city on Anahuac and honor the scientists, engineers, and all the people who have built it for these Anahuac folks. And the group has an incredibly hard time deciding which ship to use to get there, and end up using an old Clone Wars era bounty hunter ship, a former prison transport. And for fans of the Star Wars bounty hunter game, you probably recognize this ship. And anyway, here's sort of a graphic. The ship didn't seat them. Hadn't been serviced in decades. They slept on the floor. Mystifying choice, but they arrive at the gala, meet some new faces, new people, and the entire thing ends up getting attacked by the Empire. After a struggle, the group prevents the attack, and using some scare tactics against the interlopers, see Katira's method of extracting information, they discover that Admiral Dalla was behind the attack, and their ultimate goal was to kidnap the scientists and engineers who were being honored at that event. If you've been following our videos or you're in our group, you'll know that Admiral Dalla has been played out a little bit differently than the original expanded universe. She is a lot more strategic. She's hanging back. She is gathering resources and amassing her own fleet. Okay, so with Dalla ramping up her operations, the group decides to go back to Coruscant. On Coruscant, let's see. Well, that's an interesting picture. We'll go back to that one. But on Coruscant, the intelligence master of the New Republic, one Colonel Kraken, he offers a couple of things that he thinks his intelligence has gathered, saying, hey, these are the best ways to strike against her. You can choose between recapturing the Dunium Mines on Locke, something that this group is aware of and seems to have been lost maybe 6 months ago in game time, secure the Kyber crystals on Matau, or return to the Eriadu Authority's headquarters on camp and dismantle or destroy the enhanced fueling factories established there. Now, the group has a long history with the Eriadu Authority, from invading their headquarters on camp the year before, to thwarting their schemes, using changelings to gain control of the New Republic Senate. That would be back in our Secret Invasion mission arc, to going one-on-one with one of their leaders. The group firmly decides to return to camp, finish the job, and get rid of the returning problem that is the Eriadu Authority, this persistent thorn in the group's side. So given support by the New Republic, the group lands in airspeeders, heads for their primary comm station. They destroy it. They destroy that, some ATSTs, a legion of stormtroopers that were protecting it. They then hijack here's the decision, camp. They then hijack a Juggernaut tank, and they go through the base. They correctly guess or answer a verbal passcode. They run into some patrols, rescue some Ugnaughts who have been captured, run into a recurring NPC that works for the New Republic, Amos Friday, and he had apparently crashed on the planet to provide support for them. And here, let me pull up a couple of missions logs. Here we go. Do I have any of these? No. Great. Let's see. Anyway, so they get into the base, and this was a big moment. They're in this juggernaut tank. They've captured it. No one suspects them. And as they get into the main base, and they've been here before, the group comes out and they begin dismantling everything inside the base, shooting at enemies, destroying other tanks, destroying the security cameras. This is a big coordinated effort, and there's hundreds of stormtroopers sort of rushing at them. They end up securing this level at over a really long battle sequence. They learn of a VIP guest at the facility. They learn of a smuggler that they caught. They rescue that prisoner, which turns out to be Aelin Vel and Zardra. The latter, the group have a long and troubled history with. Then they meet the MVP, or the VIP guest. It was this Special Director Bayul. As they escape, they rig the base to blow, and also end up blowing themselves up a couple of times in the process with thermal detonators. They then kill the Special Director, who really needs a long expository monologue from the end bosses, right? Maybe there could have been some information there, maybe not. That person is now dead. They all steal ships, blast off, and they actually never end up blowing the base up. They rig it to blow up, but they leave it. Okay, so all of that said, that was all prologue to missions 13 and 14. So as we're here in mission 13, the group have stolen several ships and are leaving the planet camp. And they know there's at least one Star Destroyer patrolling the planet. So the original intent here was to have each player blast through a fierce space battle, dodging stray turbo lasers, weaving through attacks by ties and debris from the battle. However, on the first turn, Katira simply guided her ship into the docking bay of a friendly Star Destroyer that they had called for help. So instead of this big in battle, they all say, okay, you know what, we're tapping out. We're going to hide in this, or hide or be protected in this friendly ship. The rest of the group follows Katira's lead, and that effectively ends the encounter. Okay, so I think as a GM, okay, fine, but what happens with the ship they dock with? This is a battle with an Imperial-class Star Destroyer from Dahla's fleet. It's outfitted to the tens. This is the Hydra. And on the friendly side, this is a relatively small New Republic fleet composed of some smaller corvettes and gunships, and the aforementioned friendly Imperial-class Star Destroyer. This was stolen, given to a group that joined the New Republic. They've outfitted it. They are coming not from either the Old Republic or any friendly government. They've taken the ship, reformatted it, and I guess reformat works, but that's not what I mean. Anyway, they've recreated this ship sort of in their image on the inside, and they're just all kind of learning how to control the ship. Anyways, I try to do a simplified space battle solution here, rule-wise. I have Star Destroyers, Imperial-class Star Destroyers, represented by one roll on 1d16. I have most of the corvettes represented by 1d6s. So I roll these against each other, and sort of the idea here is, okay, well, whomever rolls lower takes some damage, with the idea that, probably these corvettes are going to go down pretty quick. So I guess if the corvettes and the Abyssian Ornament, they roll higher than 1d16 defense roll of the resolution, these rolls become the number of hits the ship takes, which in our custom rules, they can take 5 hits. So I have the players roll for the New Republic and roll for the Empire. For the Imperial Star Destroyer, the Hydra, I roll a 1. The Abyssian Ornament rolls a perfect 16 on that 1d16. So the Corvette, all of those ships hit the Hydra. This leaves the Hydra completely demolished with only one whole point left and no way to retaliate. It ends the battle in an overwhelming victory for the New Republic and the group's allies. So, no, maybe in the future I'll have Imperial Star Destroyers roll 2d8s instead of 1d16 to provide a better average. But with that, there is an easy escape. The Hydra completely capitulates to the New Republic. The New Republic captures the ship. They capture what's left of the crew, and now they have information about Dala. And after that, the New Republic receives a massive, massive victory over Dala's fleet at camp, taking that resource away from her and capturing, so thus in essence, capturing camp and the refinement center there that has been the source of revenue for the Eriadu Authority, and effectively destroying sort of the rogue terrorist group, the Eriadu Authority itself. Okay, that's sort of the A to Z of In the Dark of the Night. After this, the group leaves, goes back to Coruscant, and gets ready for Life Day celebrations. So people like, I can put links to some of the things I mentioned in the video to our wiki for rules and documentation. Otherwise, thanks for listening.